Okay, hi. Today is March 10th, and this will be reflection number 3 for my global internships class. But this is only the second installment of video blogs for my internship abroad in Milan this summer. So, for this reflection, we were supposed to list out at least 5 challenges that we anticipated while living abroad, working abroad, and at least 5 things we were looking forward to. And I guess I'll start off with the challenges. Number 1, I have language barriers and miscommunications. I'm just kind of envisioning a nightmare scenario wherein I'm late for work or I'm about to miss my train out of the country for a weekend and I can't communicate with the worker at the public transportation station, or something of that nature, like some high stakes scenario where communication is the one thing like hindering me. And so to try to combat that, I'm on Duolingo, I'm on Rosetta Stone. I'm just trying to take those small steps to hold myself as best as I can, but I know it doesn't come really without having that practice. And hopefully I'll be able to ground myself and get better at it, but that's my number 1 challenge. And I guess that also comes with like labels on things, directions, just being able to navigate every setting is going to take some practice in overcoming a language barrier. And then number 2, I have public transport. Just as my previous nightmare scenario had mentioned, I'm originally from like the DC area, and so I'm used to the metro system, which I think has accolades as being one of the easiest to maneuver. It's color coded, all the stops are very clear dots on a map. But in contrast, when I went to New York, I had a really hard time navigating the subway. And so that's kind of where my fear comes in. And especially looking at a map, I've seen a lot of the street names kind of sound similar. And so I'm expecting the stops on the subway will as well. So I guess just a lot of preliminary research and knowing exactly what stops to take to get to work, I think is the most important thing. First off, work in my apartment, and then once I get used to it, I can combat that. But it's definitely something scary in my head. And then next, I think this is a big one, American reputation in going abroad. Because I think Italians are very used to the American tourist, and they know a lot about our politics. And I really just don't want them to have that preconceived notion that I'm entitled and I'm arrogant and I'm not willing to learn their culture, interact with their culture the way they do. And I think that's also something I'm looking forward to, is being able to prove that I am excited to work with them and excited to kind of mold myself into maybe a little version of an Italian businesswoman. And then next, I guess, relationship building and trying to overcome that disconnect. Just because I know that a big thing with employees in Milan is, taking a big lunch so that employees can build relationships. And I'm just kind of worried that maybe our different senses of humor or our different ways of communication are just kind of like gonna cause friction and like not mesh well. Because there's always that disconnect, they'll never be able to relate what I've been through and likewise. But if we can find like relatable things, if we can find a common ground somewhere, I think that can be overcome as well. And then I guess my last one would be access to resources. I know a lot of this can be found online, but just knowing what grocery stores have the best prices, or knowing where I can get clothes that are going to fit me. Just stuff like that you already kind of, in America you grow up with these brand names in your head and things that you trust, and going abroad it's an entirely different situation. But I think that'll be part of the fun as well. And so, I'm trying to look at all these challenges as having a silver lining. And I know in overcoming them, I'll feel a lot better about it. And then the things I'm looking forward to. This list is a bit longer, obviously. So number 1, the food and the dining. Just all of it. Italian food is my favorite kind. And just everything that I've read and researched seems very in line with what I'm expecting. I've also heard of a thing they have in Milan called an aperitivo, which is kind of like a I guess, a buffet or a happy hour for food and drinks. And it comes at a low price, and you get a bunch of food, and definitely looking forward to that. And then even just thinking about picking up food on the way back to my apartment to cook or just to bring to lunch, just it all seems fresh and Italian. I don't know, just good. So that's the number one thing I'm looking forward to big time. Number two is traveling between countries. From what I understand, Milan, it's located in the north, and so it's like a perfect gateway to northern Europe and then also the Mediterranean, and then they have a very well connected train system, so I'm really looking forward to making the most out of my weekends there by traveling as much as I can. Number three, meeting new people. I'm really excited to meet my coworkers, really excited to meet any potential classmates or roommates, Italian or American, just because at school here I'm very closed off. I'm kind of limited to my boyfriend and my roommates, and that's kind of the only friends I have, and so I'm very excited to meet new people, especially of different backgrounds. Number four, Milan, big time fashion center, and so I'm really excited for the spectacle of it. It's just like people watching, seeing what everyone is wearing, kind of window shopping. I've heard that it's a higher cost of living, so it's a bit higher income there, so I'm expecting people to be very well dressed on the train station, walking by. So excited to see it, and so excited to see how they style themselves. And then along with that, my number five is shopping. Really gonna try to pack an empty suitcase so I can bring back a ton of stuff. I actually have a tour book that outlines the fashion district of Milan. I'm gonna try to spend some time there, vintage shopping, thrifting if that's a thing. All of that will be on the agenda. Number six, the photo ops. Big into my Instagram. My mom lives in Hawaii, and so I go there for breaks. Always make sure to take tons of pictures to just have them stockpiled for the rest of the year, and I know that Milan will provide that, and in addition to the travels that we do. And then I guess number seven is going to be these travel diaries. I think since high school I've always low-key wanted to start one of these, and doing this actually gives me content and an outlet and some accountability to do these. And I'm really excited that I can look back and see all the travels that I've been on. And so the next thing our instructor wanted us to talk about was our placement process. And so let's see and talk about the highs and lows of it. On Tuesday, I have my mock interview scheduled. And since I'm trying to have an internship in the fashion industry, the mock internship is for a marketing intern position at Versace, which, how cool is that? I wish that was my real internship. So that's where I'm at right now in the placement process. I will admit it's been a little bit difficult to maintain a constant stream of communication with the advisors in Italy, just because of the time difference. For example, I'll wake up at 8 o'clock and see they send me an email at 3 a.m., but they're getting ready to go home for the day. And so it's always plus 1 day of, plus one business day, and so everything just kind of gets a little bit behind. And also there was an issue with them not receiving one of my emails with my updated cover letter and resume. So just making sure that I'm being consistent and sending more than one email if I need to. I don't know if I'm annoying them, but I just want to make sure they get all my materials. So I'm really excited for the mock interview, and I'm really excited to talk to them. And I think that will do it for reflection number 3.